Want to learn how to make wings like these? Stay tuned and find out. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Chris. This is the Well-Rounded Dude. On this channel we cover a whole bunch of topics, and one of the topics we're covering today is a cooking segment, how to make chicken wings. It's a classic appetizer served at football games, Super Bowls in particular, and they can be super pricey if you go out or have them delivered from your local pizza shop, but I can show you how to make them for a fraction of the cost and they're going to taste 10 times better. So without further ado, let's hop into it. Alright guys, it's time to make my famous chicken wings. Now I'm going to show you the stuff that we need. All we need is some salt and pepper to taste, depending on what you like, some paprika, garlic powder, cayenne pepper, onion powder, some all-purpose flour. You really don't need a ton of all-purpose flour. Now I usually do this just by sight, okay? So I don't really have measurements for you. I can give you general estimates, but I just do it by sight because that's what I'm used to. So the all-purpose flour, you're really just going to need like a scoopful. Now we're doing 2 dozen wings, and that's going to be plenty of flour for it. You don't need a whole pound, 5-pound bag of flour. You will need a whole bottle of canola oil though, because we are deep frying these. This isn't like a shallow fry. This is a deep fry. So this is a 48 fluid ounce bottle of oil. You will need the whole bottle. Now the utensils you'll need, you won't need a lot, but there are some things you're going to need to do this properly. Paper towel, paper plates, and about 3 or 4 depending on how many you make. 1 gallon size freezer bag. I'll show you why in a second. It's a good, well-rounded, helpful tip to be using one of these. Okay, we're going to be cooking the wings in a pot. So I don't know what size this pot is, but this size pot is enough to cook a dozen wings at a time. A thermometer is a must. You definitely want to pick up a thermometer. And you definitely want one of these ladles. This is a lifesaver. You will see why. A spatula and a mixing bowl. This is for saucing the wings. So our first step is going to be washing our hands and rinsing off our chicken wings. It's important to wash your hands before you touch the chicken and after every time you touch the chicken. Chicken carries salmonella, and you don't want to spread salmonella all over your kitchen and onto your utensils and seasonings. So the first step that we have to do is rinse off the chicken wings. Make sure you wash your hands first, but then rinse off your wings and then wash your hands again, because there is salmonella on raw chicken and you don't want to get sick. So now that we've rinsed off our chicken wings, we've let them sit for a half hour. You want to make sure your meat is always at room temperature. Now we're going to dry them off, because adding wet chicken wings to hot oil is going to make it splatter. You don't want that to happen. So we got to take off that excess water. Alright, so got our chicken wings here, and just place them on your paper towel. And then you can dab it and dry it so you can get off all the excess water. Try to make sure they all get on the plate. Okay. Make sure you got an extra paper towel. You may have to repeat this process a couple times just to make sure you get everything dry. But so now that our wings are mostly dry, they're going to dry up a little bit more in a second. It's time to season them a little bit at first. Salt. This is where our salt comes in. Now, I want to be perfectly clear. Do this to taste. I always like to add a little bit more salt. You'll see that there's a little bit more salt in this recipe than what you would think you need. But it gives the chicken enough salt to absorb it and get some flavor out of it. But if, by all means, you can always add salt to your chicken wings when they're fully cooked if that's what you want, if you're sensitive to salt. But nobody here is, so we're going to add it right now. And you want to use a generous amount. and then flip them over and salt them again. Then we're going to add the whole bottle to the pot. Well-rounded tip. Save the bottle, because when you're getting ready to get rid of this oil after it's used, you can put it right back in the bottle and throw it away. Now, you're going to want to set your burner to medium, between medium and medium high. You don't want to go too much more than that, okay? Now, the oil will be nice and hot and ready. When you hit 350 to 375, I say 375 because, remember, when you're dropping something that's a different temperature, the oil is going to drop in temperature. We really only need it to be 350. But once we start adding chicken pieces, it's going to drop in temperature, and you definitely want it to be at 350. So we're going to start getting our seasoning in the bag. And I told you that this was going to be a well-rounded tip. The reason why is a lot of people like to put all of their dry ingredients in a mixing bowl, put their wings in there and stir it with their hands or whatever. There's no need to do that. You can put all of your dry ingredients in this bag and just shake your wings. It'll coat them evenly. Flour. Now, if you don't feel comfortable doing this like how I'm doing it, feel free to use like a measuring cup or something. You don't need a ton of flour, okay? You just need a little bit. But the good thing is you can always save this seasoning for if you're going to do wings again another night, or if you're going to season something else. You can save it. Stick it in the fridge though, because once you put the raw chicken in here, you don't want this to get salmonella or whatever. Make sure after you do all that, stick it in the fridge. But we got like maybe a cup in there, a little less. This is, like I said, more than enough for 2 dozen wings. We're going to add our salt. Again, I told you guys before, you're going to want to go heavy on the salt, but within reason, okay? Remember, this is for special occasions. This isn't something you're supposed to eat every day. Fried chicken wings are not good for you to eat every day. But every once in a while, you know, the game is on or you got some friends coming over, it's okay to eat them. So you just want to add enough salt, or don't. If you want to go without it, that's fine. Add it later. But your meat will taste better if it's well salted. Okay? So, salt is in the bag. Next up, black pepper. Anybody who knows me knows I love me some black pepper. You're going to want a ton of this. Fresh cracked black pepper. If you guys watched my my steak video where I made a steak for Foxy Dudettes era, you guys know that I like to have like a coarser kernels of the black pepper. I like it here too. Fresh black pepper. You're going to want a ton of it in here. Again, this is to my taste. You can do it however you want it. Okay? But it's always better to have more black pepper. Next up, we're going to add paprika. Paprika is going to give it a nice golden color. So I like to add a little bit more than the average person, but again, to taste. So you can see in there, it's more than enough, but we're going to add a little bit more anyway. Just a little bit of a shake. Okay. And then garlic powder. So a couple shakes of garlic powder. Again, this is all the taste. If you don't like garlic powder, skip it. We like garlic around here. About that much. Now, also too, guys, if you're using a sauce, if you're going to sauce your wings later, and it's going to be like a heavily seasoned sauce, you can just use plain flour in this. You know, still salt your wings, maybe pepper, but again, this is all the taste. If you just want just to really taste the sauce, you can just use like salt and the flour and you'd be good to go. I happen to think the seasoning brings out the flavors in different sauces a little bit more. That's why we're doing this. Next up, onion powder. Okay. So we're using probably a tablespoon of each of these things, except the paprika probably went a little bit more, like 2 tablespoons, but we're going to shake it in there. And it's going to be kind of hard to tell the difference between the onion powder and the garlic powder, but a little more for good measure. Pepper, a personal favorite. You want to have a little extra kick in your wings? Shake it like it's a maraca. You want to get nice and seasoned. Nice, that heat is going to be good. Okay. Alright. I am out of cayenne pepper now. That's how much I put in. That bottle can go in the trash now. Alright, so that's all of our seasoning. So what I want you to do next, seal up the bag. Okay. Really season up the bag. Season up the bag. Close up the bag. And then shake it. So you can mix it. So now that it's sealed, shake. Just to be safe, flip it over so you don't spill all of your seasoning and on the floor. And really give this a good shake. And as you can see, that's some well-seasoned flour right there. So, our oil is almost at the perfect temperature. It's almost at 375, which means it is now time to coat our wings in the flour that we just seasoned. So, open up your bag. It's also important to note that you don't want to do this step too early. Remember what I said about moisture and hot oil? Yeah, if you do this too early, you're going to get a lot of moisture when you drop it into the oil. So we're only going to cook 12 at a time. So just drop all of the wings into the bag. Make sure to wash your hands. Remember, every time you touch a chicken, wash your hands. We're going to reseal the bag and shake. You want to make sure that your chicken is nice and coated. Okay, that should be good. Time to drop our chicken in. Now, be sure to take out your thermometer. You won't be needing that now. Shake off a little excess of the flour and then carefully place it in. Okay. Don't drop it in. Place it. I know it can get a little scary, but if you drop it in, you're going to splash oil everywhere and possibly burn yourself. You don't want to do that. So we're just going to continue to shake it off. And you're going to want these to cook for about 17 minutes. What I do is I always start the 17 minutes after the last piece of chicken is in. Also, too, you guys might want to turn your vent on. We can't, obviously, because we're recording. Alright guys, so I mentioned 17 minutes. Now, that really depends on the size of the pieces of the chicken that you're cooking. So you may not need to go the full 17 minutes. You may need to go a little bit more. You're going to have to use your judgment on that one, okay? So if your oil gets too hot, add a splash of oil to the hot oil. That will bring the temperature down. Kind of like when we added the chicken into the hot oil, it brought the temperature from 375 back down to 350. That's the idea. Or just turn your heat off, use your thermometer, see, you know, what temperature it is at, and proceed to cook from there. Now guys, whenever you fry something, you want to make sure to give it a little stir every once in a while, okay? So this way it doesn't stick. So as you can see, these are coming along nicely, but they still need a few more minutes. Okay guys, now's the moment of truth. Our first dozen wings are done. We're going to pull them out. Make sure to have a paper plate and a piece of paper towel for draining. Look at that. Looking good. Shake off some oil. And always get in the habit of counting to make sure you got all of them out of the oil. Ask me how I know. So if you have 12 wings, if you put 12 in, make sure you got 12 coming out. Be careful because these babies are hot. Alright, and we're going to let them sit for a minute. Okay guys, we're going to get ready to sauce our wings. Now, this step is a little bit different for whatever sauce you're going to use. Today, we are going to use Country Sweet. Now, this is a sauce that's native to Rochester, New York, so if you're outside of the Rochester area, you're probably not going to be able to find it. This sauce is the bomb, okay? Now, we are close to Buffalo. You could make buffalo sauce. That's just heating up a little bit of butter and some Frank's Red Hot. That's a traditional buffalo wing. These are a little bit they're a little bit more sour. It's not like your traditional buffalo wing. They do make a hot version. We're just going to be using the mild today. This is by far my favorite sauce. If you're in the area, be sure to give it a shot. You'll love it. You can probably find it online and have it shipped to you. I highly recommend you do that. So let's get to saucing these wings. This is what we need our mixing bowl and our spatula for, okay? So you can either put the wings in first or the sauce. It doesn't really matter. We're going to dump the wings in. Okay, we're going to dump them in the bowl. Alright, we're going to use not as much sauce as you would think. It's probably about 2 tablespoons, maybe a little bit more again to taste. So you can see a generous portion. Now guys, remember, if you add less at first, and then if you need more, you can add it. You can always add more. You can't take away. So once you got your sauce in there, you start to stir it up a little bit. Okay. Now, I definitely need to add a little bit more sauce. So and you want to make sure to give it a good coating. You can always shake this if you want to. I prefer to stir it to make sure I'm getting all the sauce in all the nooks and crannies. Now the moment of truth. We're going to plate. And there you have my chicken wings with country sweet sauce. Alright guys, that's going to do it for this week's video. I hope you enjoyed it. Remember, chicken wings are a special occasion treat. Not something you want to eat every day, but when you do, make sure to use this recipe. You can't go wrong. So please like, subscribe, comment, share. Let me know if you want to see any more cooking videos. I'd be more than happy to film some. And check us out at thewellroundeddude.com. Dude15 gets you 15% off of our merch page. You can get cool t-shirts like the one you see here. We will catch you in the next one, guys. Take care. See ya.